We're going to do our roll call. Aye.
Mr. Hoppercamp.
Here.
Ms. Johnson.
Here.
Ms. Roberts. Here. Ms. Rodriguez.
Here.
Ms. Smith. Here. Mr. Smith.
Here.
Mayor Galante.
Here. If you'll join me in a flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have already done executive session, so we're going to move on to our committee reports.
I don't have anything new tonight, Mayor.
Mr. Hoppercamp?
Mayor, I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank Peter Kellogg for his kindness, generosity in hosting the walk last Saturday. And just want to thank him personally for the fine job he does to help this community.
I agree. Ms. Johnson?
So for school, the Hopatcon Middle School is putting on Cinderella and the Substitute Fairy Godmother this weekend, Friday the 17th and Saturday the 18th at 7 o'clock at the high school auditorium. It is $5 at the door. Hopatcon School summer camps are open for registration. You can find that at hopatconschools.org. Wanted to congratulate everyone inducted into the International Thespian Society. The Hopatcon Hawks travel tryout is at Hilltop Field tomorrow, May 16th. I know they had one earlier in the week, but that passed. And you can go on to www.hopacconsoccer.org for more information. They're also having a summer camp that is through Kicks Soccer, which is CIKZ soccer.com. All fall sports physical paperwork needs to be to the school nurse by July 1st to participate in any fall sport, including marching band, for the fall. The next Board of Ed meeting is on May 20th at 7 o'clock at the board meeting room. Recreation is busy helping plan the Memorial Day Parade and Flag Day Parade. Street hockey is well underway. A reminder to anyone who is using the parking lot next to the Firehouse Park and Ride, slow down because we have basketball and street hockey going on. I'm sorry, baseball and street hockey going on there. I wanted to remind everybody that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Check on anybody who you think is struggling, and if you are struggling yourself, please call 988 and they will help you with resources. That's all.
Thank you. Ms. Smith?
I don't have anything.
Mr. Smith?
I do. Sussex County Municipal Utilities Authority, their next paper shredding event is May 17th, and the next household hazardous waste event is June 1st. And that's all I have.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Want to echo what Councilman Hoppercamp said. Thank you to everyone who attended the Hudson Hike as well. The weather was absolutely perfect. Congratulations to the proclamation recipients on this evening's agenda. Jumping into the ambulance squad, they will be at the Lake Hopatcon block party this weekend, so be sure to stop in and say hello to them. They are still seeking volunteers starting at age 17. They will train you. And also please visit the hopatconems.org website and look at the classes. They have a lot of low-cost life-saving classes. You never know when you're going to need them, so sign up if you guys have time. It's always great to learn something new. Jumping over to the police department. It is National Police Week. You all know our police department is the best, literally. So please thank them for their selflessness to the community and everything they do. Our first responders across the board are top-notch. I want to congratulate the newest round of the positive ticket recipients, Mia, Brandon, Peyton, Caleb, Samantha, Rosalind, Alex, and Bryce. There is a new boating safety initiative that is being rolled out. We all know how busy the lake is. At every marina and boat ramp, you're going to see a sign that has a QR code. You can scan it. There are 6 safety videos that everyone's encouraged to watch. We all know it takes a second for an accident to happen on the water, so the more prepared you can be, the better off everyone is. So the 6 videos, the topics covered are safe boating equipment, safe boating anchoring tips and techniques, personal watercraft safety, safe vessel operation tips, respect on the water, and boat safety, water sport safety tips. Another reminder from the police department, please lock your cars. There's been an increased attempt of burglaries and break-ins, so just make sure before you go to bed, everything's all locked up and safe. Jumping to the fire department. So company 3 for ladder truck 159 is receiving a generator from Ewing Township. The cost of a new generator for a fire truck is, with installation, we said it was about $16,000. So that's a huge cost savings for the borough of Hopatcon. So we want to extend a heartfelt thank you to Mayor Bert Steinman, Fire Director Mark Strauss, our Fire Chief One, who's here tonight, Wade Crowley, as well as former Chief Sean Poland for their efforts on getting us that generator for ladder truck 159. That's a huge, actually, can we send a thank you, Mayor, to Ewing for that?
You'll give me all of the,
Yes.
I know you have it, so.
And then the last thing is just celebration of events. We are 10 days away from our Memorial Day parade. As said previously, please reference the calendar. There's a lot more events that are listed in there. Actually, at the Lake Hopatcon Block Party, we made a quick one-sheet flyer with all of the upcoming events. So Memorial Day parade, the National Night Out, Flag Day parade. So there's a lot coming up to be excited about. And then this Saturday, the Lake Hopatcon Block Party. So we hope to see everybody there. That was it. Thank you.
That's very good. Thank you. Our administrators report.
Yeah, thank you. Mayor can report from DPW. A variety of hot patching has occurred, leaf pickup, street sweeping, and I think everyone's noticed the work they've been doing in putting up the banners and flags, getting ready for the parade. Also some trimming along the roads. On the utility side, a few water leaks were addressed, as well as some grinder pump replacements. Administration, been trying to keep up with the mayor for all the parade activities and support as best we possibly can. Finally, the animal control ordinance is on your agenda this evening after going back and forth between the attorney and the animal control officer. Had a great meeting yesterday with community members that use the state park. They provided some feedback on some of the potential plans to utilize a grant we have. So looking forward to continuing that conversation with them in the future. And lastly, just want to say that this will likely be my last meeting as the interim administrator. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve the community. I've been great working with everyone here, both on the council and with the staff. I'm going to do everything I possibly can to make a seamless transition to the new administrator. So been great working here, and I appreciate everyone's support.
Thank you.
Can you announce the car wash?
Thank you.
Sorry, I need that back.
Alrighty, so we move on to the fun stuff, the proclamations. We're gonna do the Eagle Scout last because he doesn't appear to be here yet. So we're going to do CERT first.
You want the podium out of the way?
Yeah, you should take, somebody should take a picture too, get them all to come up.
Sir, team, you guys want to come up? You know what, we'll move this way. I'm gonna get this out of your way.
I'll send you some.
Kind of line up over there. Yeah, it's all.
Missing you.
Okay, we ready? Okay, whereas the Community Emergency Response Team, CERT, program educates people about disaster preparedness for hazards that may impact their area and trains them in basic disaster response skills, such as fire safety, light search and rescue, team organization, and disaster medical operations. And whereas, using the training learned in the classroom and during exercises, CERT members can assist others in their neighborhood or workplace following an event when professional responders are not immediately available to help. And whereas, CERT members also are encouraged to support emergency response agencies by taking a more active role in emergency preparedness projects in their community. And whereas, through training, CERT volunteers can manage and put out small fires, life-threatening emergencies, provide basic medical aid, search for and rescue victims safely, and organize themselves and spontaneous volunteers to be effective. And whereas CERT is about readiness, people helping people,
rescuer safety, and doing the greatest good for the greatest number. CERT is a positive and realistic approach to the emergency and disaster situations where volunteers will be initially on their own and their actions can make a difference. Now therefore, be it proclaimed by the Hopatcong Borough Mayor and Council that this body recognizes the Community Emergency Response Team, CERT, volunteers, and encourage the citizens of Hopatcong Borough to show their appreciation and support for the CERT volunteers whose efforts make this community a better place in which to live. Proclaim this 15th day of May, 2024 as CERT Day.
Oh, yeah, that's not good. Yeah, there's certain, as long as you guys don't fight each other. There we go.
We can treat.
Stand in front of the children,
We'll help her out.
Hold on, I got, all right, 1, 2, here, 1, 2, 3, I just moved out, yep.
Raise your hand when you're done.
Go ahead.
Probably need to go across the street.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you for all
everybody.
you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alex, we have another one, that's, they're the blue one. Oh, actually, I can. So our next proclamation is for ALS, Amyotrophic Lateral Sclerosis Awareness Month, 2024. Whereas amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, known by many as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a progressive fatal neurodegenerative disorder that occurs when motor nerve cells cease to function and die, often leading to total paralysis and death within 5 years of diagnosis. There is no cure. And whereas every 90 minutes, someone is diagnosed with ALS, multiple research studies indicate that people who have served in the military are more likely to develop ALS and die from the disease than those with no history of military service. And whereas securing access to new therapies, durable medical equipment, and communication technologies is of vital importance to people living with ALS. In most cases, the mind of a person with ALS remains sharp and alert, but voluntary muscle control becomes completely lost. As people with ALS lose the ability to walk, talk, and even breathe, the disease requires them to rely on caregivers, often their family members, to provide the care and assistance needed to perform daily activities. In many cases, particularly in latter stages of the disease, people with ALS have a need for continued care 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas we celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Ice Bucket Challenge through a renewed commitment to galvanize public awareness and support funding, leading to significant investments in ALS research. The ALS Association, as the largest philanthropic funder of ALS research globally, has committed over $154 million to support more than 550 projects across the United States and 18 other countries. And whereas to defeat this disease, our community must be educated about ALS as well as the issues confronting those who are affected by it. Our commitment to accelerating the pace of discovery remains unwavering, fueled by the hope that one day ALS will be a livable disease for everyone everywhere, and we can cure it. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Hopatcong Borough Mayor and Council that this body do hereby proclaim the month of May 2024 as ALS Awareness Month, proclaimed for the month of May 24. Thank you. I'm going to hold the other proclamation.
Can you help?
We're gonna do the lottery for the veterans cruise. Where am I going? Okay, so as you all know, there is a veterans cruise every year that the Lake Hopatcong Cruises supports and puts on by themselves. They take 24 veterans from Hopatcong, Mount Arlington, Jefferson, and Roxbury, and they take them out on a cruise and they bring them into a shore area where their residents can see them. And then the Lake Hopatcong Elks Lodge so generously gives a luncheon to the families of those members on the same afternoon. So this year, what we're doing is a lottery. We had several people who signed up for the Veterans Cruise. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick who those people are really quick. Rachel's gonna help me over there. Since somebody has to get out. So they're all in order B-I-N-G-O. Okay. We had to borrow this from the seniors, so we have to make sure it gets back without. Yes. 075.
Do you want me to see the names?
Yep.
Eric Sudak,
074.
Bernard Curry,
B14.
Jason Kunis,
N34.
James Flincham,
B1.
Bill Clow, 5 spots.
N36.
Louis Terse, I'm sorry, Louis Terse,
069.
William O'Brien,
067.
Carl Gladish,
N37.
Roy McQueen,
I-29.
Richard Belzar,
N32.
James Kane,
O65.
Bob Caulfield,
B12.
Lou Ricca,
O63.
Paul Smith,
I-26.
Thomas Yao,
O64.
Peter Eklund,
B11.
Glenn Lippincott,
G54.
Tom Larson,
N31.
Jim Liptak,
I-21.
Bob Criswell,
I-17.
Fred Denhard,
How do you have?
I think that's 21.
that's 22 in your hand,
This is 22.
right? 1, 2,
Was.
it was
Another
22.
It's another O. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 22. So this is 22. So 22 is 071.
Tom Brown,
23 is N43.
Richard Brayton,
Number 24 is G59.
Norm Caulfield,
And then we have to pick 5 alternates just in case. G46.
Richard Beller,
G57.
Fred Sampson,
B15.
James Perrin,
2 left, right?
mhm,
I18.
Kevin Curry,
I20.
MSG Alfonso Ulak.
Those are our winners. 24 veterans and 5 alternate veterans for our Veterans Cruise. So all of you, if you are here and you're one of the recipients, we will reach out to you in the next few days. It will most likely be from the entity who's running everything. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out for me. And hopefully, if you're not picked, you can do it again next year.
Thank you.
Interesting. And along with the Veterans Cruise, we're also doing the River Styx Rally, which is the same day. And we all meet at the River Styx Bridge for the Veterans Cruise to actually come in. So you'll see these up around town so that we can support our veterans as they come into the cove there. Okay, so can I have a motion to open to the public?
So made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The meeting is now open to the public. You have to come up and state your name and you can discuss, ask questions, and choose to.
On the agenda, right?
It can actually be anything.
Oh,
It can be anything.
Okay. This is my first time here.
Nope, that's okay.
Good evening. My name is Samantha Delatorre. I'm a parent of 3 children, and I volunteer my time with both PAC 88 and Girl Scout Troop 98710. I'm here on behalf of the troop leaders of my daughter's Daisy Troop, Nancy Byrne and Mackenzie May Ortiz, who have asked me to read this letter on their behalf. They send their apologies for not being here themselves, were it not for the Girl Scouts of Northern New Jersey Council recognition event where they're being honored as Rookies of the Year. They would have been here tonight instead of me. Now on to their letter. Dear Mayor Galate, honorable council people, and fellow Hopatcong residents. Last week, we wrote you to share our concerns regarding the behavior and actions of Recreation Director Roseanne Schultz. In that note, with attachments sent to all of your borough email addresses, we detailed persistent organization and communication challenges in the facility usage process. The disorganization culminated in Ms. Schultz arriving at our May 7th Girl Scout meeting unannounced, where she berated every adult and worse, every kindergartner in the room. Ms. Schultz's tone and approach was unprofessional and unacceptable at best, and sadly, the interaction turned into a teachable moment for our girls. I'd like to elaborate a little bit more on the aftermath of her actions. Following Mrs. Schultz's outburst, our girls asked, "Who was that? Why was she yelling at us? What did we do wrong? And why are we in trouble?" Many expressed that Ms. Schultz made them feel scared, afraid, and upset, feelings we never want them to feel in our care. Since our meeting, we have been focusing on making sure the girls know they have done nothing wrong, while trying to teach them about coping with tough emotions and responding with grace and understanding. The weight of this task is enormous, as our girls are young and impressionable. Every action we take will shape them into who they will become. In the future, we hope this is hardly a blip on their radar, though it should have never happened to begin with. Many of you are parents and grandparents yourselves. Mr. Smith, your son's performances in the high school theater program, particularly as Gaston in Beauty and the Beast, were treasured memories for our girls. Councilwoman Rodriguez and Johnson, we brushed elbows with you and your children at countless borough events, including bonding during a wait for brick oven pizza at the Holiday in the Park. Mrs. Smith, we enjoyed meeting you through our mutual neighbor prior to your election and hearing about your vision for Hopatcong's future and ideas to better reach families with young children, the very families and children we have the honor of leading. All of you have a vision where Hopatcong and its residents thrive. In politics and in life, we may have similar visions and goals. We rarely agree on the path to get there. Where we truly succeed as a community is in our ability to find common ground and work together to achieve our goals. As elected officials, you have taken an oath to do exactly that while serving your community. We'd like to thank interim Borough Administrator Schuster, Greg, thank you, Mayor Galate, Councilwoman Johnson, and Rodriguez for the attention and response to our concerns. At this point, we know this is a personnel matter that likely cannot be elaborated further upon. in this public setting. We trust that it is being handled in a way you feel most appropriate, given the gravity of the impression left on 12, 5, and 6-year-old little girls. We know we are not the only group who has had challenges with recreation directors and commissions of past and present. Our hope is that the awareness and outcome of this matter will help the borough improve constituent relations and processes when it comes to the important services it provides. If you have any questions, you all have our email addresses and contact information to get in touch. The residents and children of Hopatcon deserve more, and we hope this unfortunate event can bring you all together to do what is right for the next generation. With warm regards, Nancy Byrne, Mackenzie Mayor Ortiz, and myself, Samantha Delatorre. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for reading that. It does take a lot of courage to come forward to do something like that. And we certainly do appreciate you giving us all of your details and alerting us to the situation. Anybody else?
I handed everyone a piece of paper with questions that I had, questions that I've asked previously, and questions that I have currently. I'm not going to read through them because other people want to speak. I'm waiting for answers on these, and I'd ask that this be included in the minutes to not just generic Heather Stump spoke, that the specific questions are there so that it's reported, because I have asked for things previously, along with other questions that I now have that I haven't gotten answers to, whether it be from prior administration or current administration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor Modes. I have a question about a check. It's 24-00809. It's the annual site remediation fee for $3,420. Where is the contract for the new administrator, since it's on the agenda? I've been remiss in not thanking Bernie Kukowski for his presentation on fire prevention that he did for us. He saved a lot of people a lot of money on because he explained the fire blankets to us. And it trickles down because I've told other people and it saved them money too. I'd like to know if Hudson Farms pays for our police presence when they do their other fundraisers, when our cops are sitting out in the sport at Stanhope Road, which they were the other day. So,
Do you mean for the hike?
no,
Mm-mm.
it was a different fundraiser, apparently.
Okay,
It looked like archery. They had archery signs up.
okay.
Since we're still paying 2 employees for each land use board meeting, when only 1 was required in the past and land use board meetings have previously been edited, what is the reason the land use board meetings are not being posted? Our CFO Deputy Administrator Lorraine Rossetti England is also the Chief Financial Officer for Andover Township. I was assured by our interim administrator, Greg Schuster, that Lorraine would be in the borough during her required hours and her work here would not be affected. He did not say she would be working on borough business during those hours. On January 27th, 2024, a budget was filed for Andover budget ending December 31st, 2023. The budget is signed by Lorraine Rossetti, and her contact information is listed as the Borough of Hopatcon Municipal Building, phone number 973-770-1200. Her email address is listed as Lorraine L. Rossetti@hopatcon.org. Holding 2 CFO positions in traveling time and listing her contact information for Andover is the Borough of Hopatcon. Leaves one to question, is she doing Andover business on Hopatcon's time and on the taxpayers' dime? Recently, the Disciplinary Review Board, Supreme Court of New Jersey, found Mr. Urson in violation of Professional Rules of Conduct 1.7a, 2 instances of concurrent conflict of interest, RPC 1.8, 2 instances of concurrent conflict of interest. And it went on to say the board determined that an admonition is the quantum discipline necessary to protect the public and preserve the confidence of the bar. There was also another part of that. It says that your conduct has adversely reflected not only in you as an attorney, but also on all members of the bar. According to the board, they directed the issuance of the admonition to you. So Since the lawsuit was filed on 12/21/23 by John Urson against the Sparta Planning Board for conflict of interest, the lawsuit resulted in the judge disqualifying 8 members of the planning board due to clear conflict. And therefore, the board could not render a fair determination. That being said, are there any plans to vet and or replace the members of our boards for conflicts of interest to avoid lawsuits? Once again, referring to the property that Mr. Urson foreclosed on and sold to PSE&G that was not in the PACON. Mr. Urson, you were the municipal attorney and were the municipal tax attorney at that time. Wasn't it and isn't it your duty to return the property to its rightful owner in an attempt to make the rightful owner whole? Thank you.
One question, what was the check number you?
It's on our bills list.
It's on the bill list, yeah. It's 24-00809. It's annual site remediation for $3,420. I wanted to know what we were remediating annually. Thank you.
This is the third meeting that property's been mentioned. What property is that?
JCP&L property.
What, like, that's the
I think
third,
it's PSE&G
Oh,
property.
PSC&G I meant, not JCP&L.
I think it's PSE&G property.
What is it?
It's property that was sold, many years ago. Many years ago to PSE&G from the borough. I'd have to check into the other pieces.
And Richie, I have no facts, just my opinion. I come to these meetings because I'm a constituent of Hapakong and I like to see what's going on as far as what my people who were nominated to represent us as best interest of the community. And I really have to tell you what happened in the last meeting, both with you, asking for people to come and attack the mayor. Bad time for calling anything attack, my opinion. And you, Bradley, allowing the poor borough administrator who comes here to help us out for 3 months and has nothing to do. Gosh, I know the stories you're gonna have at the next dinner party. I was a consultant. I loved it because you got to leave. So the end of that. Allowing the mayor and the borough administrator to go back and forth on this farmer's market and what information they could present, and what they couldn't present. And then all of a sudden in the midnight hour, you have the information that was handed to you. Totally unprofessional. And I'd really have to tell you, I've been in corporate America for too long, 38 years, 4 years from retirement. I pulled a stunt like that in my company. You know where I'd be right now? Not on unemployment, because they would deny my unemployment because I broke one thing, our core values. And that's very important in corporate America. Now I look at all of you as corporate Hapakong, and I look at all of you to make decisions for the betterment of the constituents of Hapakong who voted you into office. Having an opinion, having your own personal agenda, working behind the scenes to undermine the new mayor, the 2 new council members, any fashion you can do it, is not presentable and acceptable in what I would value representing my community. This is my opinion, and I think it's a disgrace, your behavior. Knock your agendas off. Start thinking about the community for once and for all. I want to thank you, Mr. Borough Administrator, for here. Dawn, I'm leaving you out of this. You have nothing to do with it. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Lana.
On the bills, there's something about paying for, not to change subject, which I am going to, paying for training seminars. Was that a double billment? Was that already paid in the past, or is that brand new? Curious. I don't have the numbers in front of me.
Which ones?
Clerk conference.
Conference reimbursements. A couple months ago.
page 2.
Well, Shona, I don't have their last name, and Valerie Egan.
Do you know what number the bills? You don't have,
The first, so one is 24-00902. And the other is 24-00917.
Lynn, these appear to be reimbursements for league conferences. I'm not aware of them. I don't remember hearing about them, or so I don't have any information that I can give to you, but I can absolutely get it back to you of when it was approved and who approved it. I just don't have the answer for you right now.
I guess they're saying to make sure it wasn't, they're saying it was double. We paid double for it. So to make sure it was a
No,
one-time.
it's two separate.
No,
No, that
There's a
was-
Previous payment. in a
That's what they're
previous
questioning, if
month.
there was a previous payment for it.
Okay, well,
That's all.
we can always check. We can always check. Thank you. Anyone else from the public?
Good evening. Just had a couple of comments. Were we able to speak with the chief of police regarding the covered license plates, the lack of license plates in the front of cars for identification? Because a lot of the cars that are driving around don't have front license plates. And it's hard to believe that all these people live in Pennsylvania and are circulating around our town and in the county. Also, as far as the, let's see, the other thing was the introduction of the ordinances. Is there any way you could possibly give us a quick review of what they are, the noise pollution, the animals?
Do you want me to, do you mind waiting till we get to them?
No, I'm very patient. I'm not going anywhere. Let's see, and the one-way glass at the police station, remember?
One-way glass.
Yeah, another
I
citizen
have an
brought
answer.
these up. And, let's see, and the other thing was, I hate to keep hopping on it, but the walls still have not been touched up.
They're going to be done. They're going to be done.
My generation.
I'm volunteering to sand myself, so they're going to be done.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I can tell you the front license plates, that is something that I did mention to the chief. It is not just people that live in Pennsylvania that are here missing their front plates. There are a lot of people that have really, really beautiful cars that do not want to disturb it by putting a front license plate on, so they tuck it into their dashboard. So it is something that we've talked about. It is something that they do look into, and it is a reason for someone to be pulled over because they don't have a front license plate. As for the one-way glass, we will have it, Rachel can give you the answer.
Oh, where'd you go? Oh, there you are. It's a safety precaution. It wasn't always that way. There was an incident that took place a couple years back within the entryway of the dispatch, the police department. So as a precaution to the dispatchers and anybody behind the glass there, it's just a safety measure. That was all.
Anybody else? Motion to bring it back?
Motion.
Mayor, I'd like to address,
Sure.
Mayor Ritchie.
Sure.
In fairness of presenting both sides, the information I received approximately Wednesday evening before the meeting was around 6 o'clock. That information had been provided to the mayor, the administrator, a week before. I got nothing different, nothing new. I know from just intimate knowledge that something seemed amiss. And one thing was that I would hope to have tonight, I've asked the temporary BA for the records, which I know exist. And I was going to ask Greg later when they will be available. But there were expenditures and records for all of 2023. I had meant no disrespect to the administration or the mayor. It just, for the clarity, I wanted everyone to know what the actual statement said. And obviously there's different things going around. I've seen things, $5,000 a month, $5,000 a year for Cablevision, I
What's a
think,
year?
pardon me?
I've always said it was. a
You
year.
have,
Yeah.
yes,
I'm the
absolutely.
one who seems to be spouting about it, so yeah, I
Yeah.
clearly stated it was yearly.
And I think once this report comes out, you'll get a more detailed explanation as to their charges. I can't swear that it goes up to 5,000 per year, but it's a respectable number per month for the different services there. But the whole thing here is my point is that the truth comes out one way or the other, whether it's good for anybody or indifferent. I mean, I don't want to go into negative territory. It's just that when the information exists, you as a community resident deserve the actual numbers. And I would like to say that we can make everything public from those records. Unless there's an objection by anybody here, because they should be available pretty soon. Greg, would you like to comment?
Yeah, sure. As I said earlier, and I believe yesterday in an email, working on that right now. The whole stack and probably over 1,000 pages is actually
Right.
on my desk right now. So I will get it out to you this week. I don't know how I'm gonna get 1,000 pages out, but we will get the information out.
And just for clarification, I only asked for 2023. I believe someone else has put in
There
the
was a
request.
request for expanded beyond
Sure.
2023.
Okay.
Yes, that's.
Sorry
that's
you have to go
taking
through all
additional
that work, but
time. That's
if
okay.
it's important, everyone here should see the actual numbers. That's all, Mayor.
Yes, that information will be available for anybody that does want to see it, the public to see it. So in this council will, everyone will get a copy of all of that information now that it's actually assembled into something, which is what's taking so long. Because it has to be entered and then printed out and things like that. So once that's all done, we'll all have the information. We'll all be talking about the same thing at the same time. So absolutely, everybody will have it. Absolutely. A second to come out.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Moving along to the approval of minutes, approval of the May 1st, 2024 regular minutes. Councilwoman Roberts is not eligible for those. So I have a motion.
So made.
Second,
Roll call.
Mr. Hoppercamp.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Abstain.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes,
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
and Mr. Smith.
yes,
We have no correspondence this evening. Resolution 2024-76 is our bill list.
Motion made. And if anyone has anything they'd like to eliminate,
I would like to pull the first three.
got
Tony, you got the three?
Yeah.
You
Valerie?
want them, Valerie?
2201-771, 2301-803, and 2301-826, correct?
Yes, thank you.
Mayor, I'd like.
Wait,
Go
I
ahead,
think,
Ken.
I think that should we pull those two bills, 902 and 917, just until we can figure out if it's a double payment?
It's not a double payment. It's the first payment was probably for the conference itself. This is reimbursement for both me and Shauna for our expenses at the conference.
well, yeah, I have no problem approving them. But for due diligence for the resident who asked the questions about it, should we look into it for them first prior to voting on it?
Whatever
Just to
you're,
confirm? I
whatever
mean,
you're
that's,
comfortable with.
we were asked to research something. What's the good of researching if we've already voted and passed on it?
Make a motion.
So,
Give it, give it.
I'm sorry, 24
009.
902 and 240917
Okay.
to pull those completely.
All right, well, let's start.
Can I
Let's
just
start there.
interject?
I know.
If you're going to do those two, are you going to pull the one, the 00809, unless somebody knows exactly what that is?
Remediation fee.
Oh, yes,
Annual
Mara had
site.
asked about that.
Is that the recycling? I mean, is that the town?
It says annual site.
It says annual site
No.
remediation.
The check is written to the treasurer of the state of New Jersey.
I don't-
It's probably the monitoring fee for the landfill. I can't say for sure. The size of it makes me think it's the landfill monitoring fee.
So then we should probably just add that into the mix and.
You want to table that?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be. just
Table
2
those
weeks.
three.
Okay. But we'll stay,
Zero,
we'll stay,
zero.
we'll stay with the
809.
bill list and we'll We'll work it out. Well, we'll table this one first. Actually, we have to table this
Table
three
those
first.
three first.
All right, Miriam, if I may, I'd like to table the following bills of the bill list. That's 24-00809, 24-00902, and 24-00917.
Second,
Roll call.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
yes,
Mayor, if I may move the bill list minus those three and minus the previously mentioned 22-01771, 23-01803, and 23-01826.
second,
Roll call. Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
yes,
Mayor, if I may make a motion to move the three that have been eliminated before. Again, it's 22-01771, 23-01803, and 23-01826.
Second.
Roll call. Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Abstain?
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Abstain?
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
yes,
Okay, moving along. Resolutions 2024-77, authorization for a refund for a water overpayment.
So made.
Second?
Roll call. Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
yes,
2024-78, authorization of an assignment of a municipal tax sale certificate 16-00010.
So made.
Second.
Can I just clarify this? Because I just want to make sure. This is the private, a couple of meetings ago, we talked about the private tax sale. So this is, okay. Thank you.
Exactly. Roll call.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
abstain,
Resolution 2024-79, authorization of an assignment of a municipal tax lien certificate number 16-00011.
So made.
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And a roll call. Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
abstain,
2024-80, authorization for the borough to enter into negotiations for bid 24-02, 24R-02 Mariner Well Heat Tracing and Tank Installation.
Motion made.
Second.
What is the blank spot supposed to say?
Yeah.
It says
From the blank
council,
account.
mayor and council that sufficient funds are appropriated from the blank
and-
account.
Oh, we need a number in there from the. Yeah, it would be the account number.
It'll be the account number. A roll call.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
yes,
2024-81, requesting First Energy increase funding to JCP&L for modernization of electrical grid.
Motion made.
Second.
And a roll call.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
yes,
Resolution 2024-82, authorizing an application to the NJ Clean Energy Program Grant.
So made.
Second.
And a roll call.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
yes,
2024-83, authorizing the hiring of administrator. You want to take care of that, John?
Giving the background?
Mhm.
Yeah, so the borough has gone through an interview process for an administrator. A negotiation has occurred and terms have been agreed to. So the council is obviously aware of the candidate and aware of the terms. So the council is voting tonight to authorize the mayor to execute the contract with the administrator. The candidate has to pass a couple of things related to being employed. Once he or she passes those things, then the contract will be finalized and the candidate will be public and the contract will be public, et cetera. But the tonight is taking the step to have the administrator go through the background check and whatever other things are appropriate for the administrator position.
So moved.
Second.
Now roll call.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
2024-84, authorizing an award for an energy consultant.
Motion made.
Second.
Second.
And a roll call.
Mr. Hoppercamp.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Moving on to resolution 2024-85, authorizing the 2024 LEAP grant. The only thing that's on here is there is a correction at the bottom where it says New Jersey at a meeting held on May 1st. It's actually May 15th and not the 1st. Oh, that's okay.
So made.
Second.
And a roll call.
Mr. Hoppercamp.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Ordinances, introduction of 9-2024 stormwater, an ordinance of the Borough of Hopatcong, County of Sussex, and State of New Jersey, replacing chapter 203 regarding stormwater.
So moved.
Second.
And a roll call.
Mr. Hoppercamp.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Dave, I'm just gonna have Mr. Urson explain what this one is. It's a little complicated for me.
The stormwater ordinance? Yeah, so the state of New Jersey, the borough maintains a stormwater permit from the state of New Jersey, requiring the borough to enforce certain stormwater standards. In the last year, the DEP has required that the borough adopt a series of either 4 or 5 sets of new additional regulations to allow us to maintain the stormwater permit. And the stormwater permit is a townwide permit to take measures to properly drain stormwater and not have runoff and these types of things. So the borough really needs to maintain that permit because otherwise development projects won't be approved if the town doesn't have a valid and current stormwater permit. So this stormwater ordinance was not our idea. And this is the regulations from the model ordinance that the DEP is essentially making us, requiring us to adopt. That's where it comes from.
Well said.
Yep.
Okay, moving on to the bond ordinance, 10-2024.
We have to vote.
No.
We
Oh, yeah, we
voted for the
did.
stormwater?
Yeah.
We introduced.
We spoke after,
Oh, okay.
that's
Got
why.
you.
Sorry, 3-0.
No problem.
10-2024 bond ordinance. Bond ordinance providing for various 2024 capital improvements by and in the Borough of Hopatcong in the County of Sussex, State of New Jersey. The borough appropriating $715,000 therefore and authorizing the issuance of 515,000 bonds or notes of the borough to finance part of the costs thereof. This is an ordinance, sorry, I'm still on stormwater. This is an ordinance where we are appropriating for a police department, the acquisition of various equipment, including but not limited to 2 police vehicles. This is a payment currently of $20,000. Their Department of Public Works, various roadway improvements throughout the borough, including but not limited to as applicable, milling, paving, reconstruction, resurfacing the roadway, and the associated repairing and or installation of curbs, sidewalks, and driveway aprons, drainage work, roadway, painting, landscaping, and aesthetic improvements. That project total is $575. This is a down payment of $180 for a total of the $1,715 for a total of the $200 that is down for the projects that we spoke about during our budget.
And
that the
this
council
is
approved.
like a 1-for-1, right? So we paid off 515,000 and we're
Yes,
taking
and we're
out, so it's like
taking out.
we're, right,
It's equalization.
It's equalization.
A motion
So, second.
and a roll call.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 11-2024 noise. An ordinance of the Borough of Hopatcong, County of Sussex, and State of New Jersey, amending the Borough Code to replace 167-12 regarding noise. This is a change in our noise ordinance in reference to unlawful noise. This was brought to our attention by the chief. Some of this is falling under the guise of us having the police vote that we're going to be on. There are other lake communities that have already passed this, and we're just doing what the rest of the towns around the lake have so that it's enforceable all over.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
And a roll call.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
And this ordinance specifically is between 10 PM and 8 AM. Most of us are asleep.
Well, no, it's 2. So between 10 PM and 8 AM, it's 25 feet, and between
Yes.
8 AM and 10 PM, it's 50 feet.
Right, but that's where most of the action is gonna happen, is between the 8 PM. and
You'd
10.
be surprised, I
No,
think.
yeah, not really. Most of it happens around 4:30, 5 o'clock.
So the next one, 12-2024 animals, an ordinance of the Borough of Hopatcong, County of Sussex, and State of New Jersey, amending the Borough Code to add new chapter 66 entitled Animals and delete chapter 248 entitled the same. I actually think we should have a drum roll for this, for the chickens.
Wait, let's pass it first.
Well, we got- Motion.
Second,
Second.
We did.
Please, second.
Discussion?
any discussion?
Yes. What page is that? I'm sorry.
I think it's section,
We had discussed lowering this.
Article 366-9, section D.
We had discussed lowering the square footage from 15,000 to 10,000 and still showing 15,000 in E.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought.
I'm sorry.
No, you're right. I was asking around earlier.
I thought we settled on 15,000, so there's been so many conversations. I thought it was 15,000.
I thought we knocked it down to 10.
I thought we knocked it to 10 too.
Yep, we did.
Those
Yeah.
in favor, now we just change it to
We
10.
just changed it to 10 on the introduction.
So can we pass it with
Yes.
that? Okay.
Yep,
With that
absolutely.
amendment.
It's
It's
first
still
reading.
gonna pass.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Still got it.
Since there seems to be consensus, Ms. Johnson, you made the motion,
Yes,
and you'll make the motion with
To
it
amend it.
reduced to 10,000 feet,
Yes.
10,000 square feet.
I make the motion to take it down to 10,000 square feet.
You're
Second.
amending. there you go.
Amend it, yep. I said amend, right?
Yeah.
Make the motion to amend,
Second.
second.
Happy chickens.
So this is, because Ms. Johnson amended her motion to pass it with the 10,000 feet, this is the vote to approve the ordinance as amended.
Yes.
And a roll call.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Hell, yes.
This is ordinance 8-2024 trees, an ordinance of the Borough of Hopatcong, County of Sussex, and State of New Jersey, replacing the Borough Code Chapter 228 trees.
So made.
Second.
And a roll call.
We have to open it up.
Oh, I'm sorry, we have to open it to the public. Can I have a motion to open it up to the public?
Made.
Second.
The meeting is open to the public to speak about this ordinance and this ordinance alone. Ordinance 8-2024 trees. Would anybody like to comment?
So you cut a tree, you replace a tree. That's the ordinance,
It's very, it's
It's a little bit more.
a little bit more
complicated than that.
complicated than,
but in essence. If you have trees on your property, you're responsible for their maintenance and replacement. of them.
correct in general, yeah. And again, this is an ordinance that we are
required to pass because of our stormwater permit.
Anyone else have a question? Not seeing any motion, to bring it back.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have a first and a second,
Yes, we do.
and a roll call.
Mr. Hoppercamp.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Good. Does anybody have any old business?
All right, well, question, I guess, at the last meeting, we discussed a new ordinance that was gonna be on here. Or was it a resolution? I apologize for the aeration systems. We want to explain why it's not on here, only because it was discussed at the last meeting that it would be on this agenda.
I pulled it off of, you saw the initial resolution that John Urson had prepared for us. And I had moved it off the agenda because there was some confusion about who actually has to maintain this system. When I started doing this in the month of March, because I was getting phone calls about turning on the aeration system, what I started doing was calling people and saying, what do I do with this? I had actually reached out to the state to get a copy of the grant, and the grant actually had no information in it whatsoever, other than the installation and whatnot. When I spoke with, just double check, Everblue, in their emails, they really didn't have a direction for me to go. So I reached out for the Lake Hopatcong Commission. I reached out for Marty Kane. I have emails from Dan McCarthy. And what ended up happening was I had spoken to Mr. Urson and said, hey, we need to put something on the books, because right now, as it works, Mr. Mason is used to having the mayor call and tell him when to turn it on and when to turn it off. And I thought that that was ridiculous. So that's why I had asked for something to be prepared in paper, because I'm not going to be here every day. Pat Mason's not going to be here, for the rest of his life. So something should be in print. So when I had put the resolution together, you saw the response from Councilman Hoferkamp, and there was a whole bunch of information that he had that I had never had, that I had never gotten from anybody else. So I pulled it until we can actually I can get the rest of that information so that we can work through that, because now the problem that's happening is it's never been serviced. Pat Mason's never serviced it. It's been being turned on and turned off for several years without the maintenance that was mentioned. So now we have to get a little bit more, no pun intended, into the waters of trying to figure out how we're going to work this, because in order to service this, you have to be on the water. And DPW, superintendent says, we don't go on the water, like, we're not going to go on there to surf. So there's a little bit more information that we're going to have to need, and we're going to have to put just a little bit more
Research.
I'm going to say research, but it sounds like Mr. Hoverkamp has somebody that he's communicating with. So once we actually just get all those pieces together, we'll just put it back on the agenda. But it's that in a nutshell.
So I'm confused, because I thought that you in your email has said that Everblue was actually maintaining it.
They
They're
did it
the
for
ones that have
every
been
year,
maintained.
they've been doing it. I don't know who Mayor talked to, but John Tucci, the president's the one that actually did it voluntarily every year to do the maintenance. Maintenance inquiries, simple things. Boat anchor hooks them up, pulls them away from there, and there's supposed to be a curtain wall of 10 different aerators in the front by the River Styx Bridge. And then it's a total of about 38 units, and just a year of muck stacking on these porous stones that'll become useless pretty soon. And balancing the lines, there's miles of underwater air tubes. They need to be, and the compressor needs to be serviced. Nothing major, it's just that whether or not Pat wants to be out there on the water doing that, and John Tucci's willing to show any of the employees that want to what needs to be done. But if a decision's made not to go out in the water and do that, it takes a little bit of time and effort. Then we'd have to look at some type of a contract, simple contract, once a year, twice a year, whatever.
And I think it's important for that resolution, because the information you have is different than the information Marie has, and none
Yes.
of it is in writing. And so you have, 15 years from now, 50 years from now, you have a new council up here, you have a new superintendent, and they don't
You're not
know.
gonna be here in 50 years?
I better not be here in 50 years.
Okay.
I changed my diapers. But the 396. So that, but that's, I think that's the important thing about having the resolution and having it in writing so that everybody going forward who sits here or works in DPW knows that that has to be maintained and what has to be done, and then it's turned on without a mayor informing a DPW superintendent.
Full favor of that.
And the problem is the resolution that was passed in 2020, there's nothing in here that says anything about maintenance. There's
Right.
nothing in here that says anything about when to turn it on, when to turn it off, who's responsible. It really just, it goes over the Everblue, the cost of the project. It's very simplistic. This was 2020-87. So again, my confusion was, how am I supposed to know to turn this on when I had no idea that it was supposed to be turned on? Anyway, that's the concept of it, putting it in writing so that moving forward, there's no confusion, because I always kind of say, you know, if you want an answer, you go to Dan McCarthy. If he doesn't have the answer, you go to Cliff London. If he doesn't have the answer, nobody has the answer.
Mhm.
So.
Is there any way to see if he would continue? Is there a reason why he's no longer volunteering his time? Or volunteering to come and clean
We
it
can
up? Was
ask
that a
him.
verbal
I mean, that was
agreement?
just a agreement. They, the former mayor and him were also working in conjunction to try to aerate the 800 acres of the lake that are oxygen deprived or no oxygen whatsoever. And the Lake Commission's taken that over and is going to keep trying to do that, but that's a very expensive proposition. So they were going in that direction slowly right now.
So you will see it pop back up with a lot more detail to it than, sorry, John, than what you wrote.
Yeah, of course. I don't have it.
Okay, anything else for old business? New business?
Can I just, one thing, because I forgot. Greg, I just want to tell you what a pleasure it's been to work with you.
Thank you.
You've really kind of, I think, shown me what a real administrator looks like. I appreciate everything that you've taught to me and the value that you've brought to the borough. So thank you very much.
Thank you for the kind words. Thank you.
Greg, I just want to say thank you for your service the last 3 months and digging into matters that are great concerns for our residents. An example, you know, our crazy internet bill. I appreciate you digging into that. And I appreciate all the answers, the prompt emails. It really means a lot to us to have you accessible and researching what needs to be researched and bringing out what needs to be brought out. And so I just wish you luck as you go on your next journey. And thank you for your time with us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Same here, Greg. We should have brought a cake, I know. At this point. in time.
It's not his last day yet. Maybe we can
It's
do
not
a
his
cake
last
on his
day.
last day.
I'm not ugly crying at the dais, so I will thank him after.
Okay, anybody else for new business? No, okay, motion to open it to the public,
So made.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
The meeting is open to the public? Or anything and everything?
I just wanted to point out that I removed my vest, but for clarification, I am not speaking for CERT tonight. I'm speaking for myself. I'd like to thank you, Mayor, for choosing the veterans in public for a change. It'll alleviate any confusion or whatever. I'd like to mention a block party. And I would like to go back and review the disciplinary review board, because in case somebody wants to look it up. He was found in violation of the Professional Rules of Conduct, RPC 1.7, which was 2 instances of concurrent conflict of interest. RPC 1.8, which was 2 instances of concurrent conflict of interest. And RPC 8.4, which was conduct involving dishonesty, fraud, deceit, or misrepresentation. I left that out before.
Mary, you think you brought that, that's from 2012. You think you brought that up for about the 10th time? You think?
No, it
that's about
isn't the
enough?
10th time.
Yeah,
No, it isn't.
yeah, it's about the 10th time.
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
Find the land that you lost and can't remember.
Okay, we've done our comments. Anyone else from the public?
Pete Freckling. Last meeting, I mentioned about the lower River Styx area being sort of an unofficial speedway and all that. I realized that the River Styx, that area and all, River Styx Road is a county road. Okay, so you guys don't have any jurisdiction over it per se. But the thing is that if I went up there by myself to Newton and said, yo, they're having a problem down there, they might not listen to me. But if the town said something, I think that would carry a little more weight. And that's
You're
what I
absolutely right, but the speed that's enforced on those roads is our jurisdiction.
Yeah,
So
okay.
the speedway, again, I had mentioned that to the chief also, and again, we don't want to announce when people are doing speed traps in the area.
Oh, no,
because
no, I'm just.
They're gonna
yeah.
avoid things like
Yeah.
that, but we do traffic studies when these things are brought to our attention, we do traffic studies just to see. And I can say that with the new police officers that we do have here in Obagon, they're not really in the same spots that they have been. Because I watch, not because I drive real fast, but I do watch. So, yeah.
We've noticed that.
Yes.
So, anyway.
So we do alter things and change them around. So they do the traffic studies when things like this are brought up, because they're also, DuPont was brought up also as
Okay.
another speedway,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I thank you and the deer, thank you.
Thanks.
And the fox.
Coyotes. Anyone else?
I'm new to town, relatively, I'm new to this process, Laura Zavala. Am I allowed to ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to ask on the sound, the noise ordinance, can you just clarify that for me?
Sure. Which part?
The one about 50, I'm going to keep standing on, the 50 feet, are you saying that it's 50 feet away from your property or that you can hear from 50 feet? So I guess since we're talking about the boats on the cove, on Byron Cove. So if you're hearing, if the boat is 200 feet out and you can still hear the noise at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, is that?
Obnoxious, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Besides that, is it illegal?
Extremely.
Yes.
Yes, that's what they're.
Yes, that's what the purpose
So
of this.
residents can call at that point to
Yes.
say, hey, this
Yes.
is that.
And I'm sure if you're in Byron Cove, you're very familiar with, the issues that happen in Byron Cove. And I don't know if you have heard that, Hopatcon Police, we have 8 officers that are Marine certified now, and Hopatcon is actually gonna have their own boat on the lake this year.
Yes,
Um,
God is good all the time, and
yeah.
all the time God is good.
It's a very good thing to have, and with a lot of the issues that are happening in Byron Cove, this will now allow them to have a little bit of enforcement that they really just didn't have before.
So it'll be more than just warnings, they'll actually now be able to issue tickets.
They haven't, believe it or not, they have been issuing tickets because they've had people undercover in that area for 2.5 years.
Okay.
So, yeah, so they have been giving out tickets. They do give out a lot of warnings, but being that they do have officers that are there undercover, they know what happens. They know that as soon as the officer pulls in, the noise goes down. As soon as they pull away, the noise goes back up. So this helps them, fix all those things.
It will take time.
Anyone else? Motion to bring it back?
So maybe.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so for the mayor's comments, I have a few things that are of some interest, I think. So tax appeals, the appeal deadline was May 1st. We have 40 county tax appeals. We have 73 assessor appeals to change the assessments with continued reviews. Tax work begins June 12th. There are 2 state appeals that were filed for the Borough of Obagon. The Motor Vehicle Commission mobile unit will be at the block party this Saturday on the 18th. There are still appointments available. They have 2 real ID appointments available, 16 registration renewals, and 8 duplicate replace title and registration. You have to unfortunately go online to the telgovnewjerseyportal.com for NJMV mobile unit. This came actually from Assemblyman Mike Ganamort's office, which was really nice that he let us know about it. The real estate committee, you'll all be very excited. You don't have anything to do anymore. We actually were able to get all of the borough properties listed. So everybody will have this. And there is a key at the bottom of it to explain things, and we are going to be putting it onto the municipal website. So when you get onto the municipal website, you would go to hopakon.org. You go to the section that says, then how do I? You scroll to the bottom and you choose purchase borough property. You click that and a list of all of these parcels will come up. If you decide you wanted to purchase something, you complete the inquiry that's there. You send your check for the $100 deposit to the municipal clerk and the process starts. So we don't have to worry about having it show up on an agenda, show up at a meeting, and it speeds the process along for the borough to be able to sell their property that's there. So that's exciting. So I know I'm excited. I've been waiting to do that since the beginning of the year. The Lake Hopatcong Commission, they're doing Socks for Docks in Hopatcong. This is a pilot program to hang socks off the docks, and it helps remove the phosphorus from Lake Hopatcong. Biochar is a form of charcoal produced from organic materials like wood chips or agricultural waste. When you submerge it into the water, the biochar acts as a sponge and it captures the immobilizing phosphorus, preventing it from being available for the algae to grow. This pilot program is made possible through funding provided by the Lake Hopatcong Commission through the 319H grant and from the state of New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection. If you're a Hopatcong resident or a representative of a swim sport club that has docks in Hopatcong and you're interested in a sock or a pair of socks, you can sign up for this event via the link that the Lake Hopatcong Foundation has on their website. And socks are going to be available actually May 23rd from 5 to 7 p.m. at Hopatcong State Park. It's really something that's kind of innovative. And since it's a pilot program, we're hoping that everybody takes advantage of it so we can get great results so that it is something we can use futuristically. This Hopatcong State Park is actually going to have swimming starting the second week in June. I mentioned earlier, the Hopatcong police boat is being lent to us by the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, and it'll be staying around Byram Cove. You can see the new police boat at the block party on March 8th, this Saturday. They're going to have their own table. The boat will be there. Everybody can see that. There is also 1,000 trout that went into Lake Hopatcong on April 13th. So far, there has only been 9 reported that were caught. This year's colored tag is orange. So if you do have a trout with a tag, you do want to go and have it registered so that they're aware that it came back. There have so far been no silver or blue tags, which are previous years, which is beneficial. And as of Monday, the lake was at 9.22 feet. So that was important. The weed harvesters are in the water already. They've actually had 2 truckloads of weeds that they're going to dump. And the lake, this was interesting. The Lake Hopatcong classroom has over 2,000 students now across 17 dates for 4th and 5th grade students to go onto the floating classroom. That's amazing because we started out with such a small amount of people on that boat. That's just great. And they're hoping to add high schoolers in the fall to use the boat in the fall for that, which is awesome. The first shrink wrap that I mentioned last meeting that they had for the public, they actually collected 12,000 pounds of shrink wrap. Wow. That's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. So the other thing, Councilwoman Rodriguez was talking about the safety videos. So the safety videos are from the New Jersey State Police Marine Service Bureau, which consists of Morris County Sheriff, Jefferson Township Police, Hopatcong Police Department, Mount Arlington, Roxbury Police Station. And what they did is they created the videos that Councilwoman Rodriguez is talking about. So what happens is all voters will have to click onto this QR code to have all of the videos pop up. So when you're renting a boat, renting a jet ski, and a lot of other areas in Hopatcong, you're going to have to do these. They're going to be able to tell whether or not you viewed them or not. The interesting thing about the videos is they were made here in Hopatcong by these individual police departments. They actually had asked the mayors on the lake to participate, and I was really excited when they had actually asked me this year to participate because I really thought it was already finished, and they were kind enough to add me to it since the other 3 were in it, which I thought was really nice. So I'm in the beginning, so you don't have to watch 6 videos to get to me. I'm right in the beginning. So if anybody wants to take these to see them, they're really good. They do talk about safety. They talk about having your life jackets on, noise. They talk about safely being able to get on your boats, get off of your boats, We all know the tragedy that happened with the two boaters that fell off the front of the boat and unfortunately did not make it. And something so simple, but we all need to pay attention to the water safety. We all live on the same lake. We need to be able to preserve the lake. We need to make sure that it's here for decades to come. These videos, I think, are a really good start for everything in Hopatcon. The last 2 to 3 years, I'm sure you can concur, Mr. Hoferkamp, the state police have really been working very, very hard with the other entities on the lake for police. And there's a great working relationship. Our Lieutenant Ryan Tracy is one of the spearheads of these things. I'd like to say he was the inventor of this, but I'll get in trouble if I say that, but he was one of the people who came up with a great idea, because having videos for people to watch and people to see things in action means more than just reading something and looking in a book, because they do action things. I do want to remind everybody that the block party is this Saturday. It starts at 10 a.m. Please do not try to go into the state park. You will not get a parking space. Go to the senior center on Lakeside Boulevard. There is a bus that will ferry back and forth, or you can go to the plaza where the old Pathmark was, where the liquor factory is in Landing, and they'll be ferrying people. Those parking spaces will not make it. I do want to thank Peter Kellogg for hosting the Hudson Guild Hike this past Saturday. It was very nice having the new trail that they had. And we had over 1,300 participants that were actually in there. I do want to thank Anthony and Donna Luciani. It's a lot of work to put this together from a lot of different entities, with getting the groups that are going to be recipients of the money, setting the trail, going back and forth, getting the groups, getting the vendors, lining everything up. It's a lot of work. So again, Anthony and Donna Luciani deserve a lot of attention also for that, because it's their success for the last 11 years that we have had such a great event there. Our Memorial Day Parade, as Councilman Rodriguez mentioned, is on the 25th at 10 a.m. We will go from from the municipal building to Veterans Field. Our ceremony will be there. That's a rain or shine event. So we will be doing the ceremony if it rains, obviously not the parade. The Flag Day Parade, that, as I've mentioned before, is June 15th. This is something that's brand new. Hopatcon has never had a Flag Day Parade, and there is no one in the area that has a Flag Day Parade, not Morris, Essex, nobody has a Flag Day Parade. The last meeting that we had, we actually have over 500 marchers just in the marching bands. Again, the Hawthorne Caballeros, there's 150 people just in that band. That doesn't include any of the groups, organizations, fire departments, or anything else. So I think we might actually end up with a parade bigger than the 200th year anniversary parade. We are having the entertainment for the afternoon at Veterans Field, which will be all of our groups and organizations that will be selling food and drink and ice cream and all that kind of great stuff. We do have the vendors from the farmers market. I think they're on 70 vendors now for that event. So it's going to be a nice event. So if you're around, you definitely want to make it. I do want to mention the car wash that is on June 2nd, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's at Lakeside Tire. And that is for the Hopatcon Chiefs music programs. And I do want to thank Greg for all of his help, all of his energy, and all of his patience with me. He has been an asset to the Borough of Hopatcon. I cannot tell you how much. He comes here every day, and he works from the minute he gets here till the minute he goes. He's available on call. He's available by email, text messages. I felt terrible. I thought about something the other day. It was 11:30 at night, and I said, Greg, do not respond to this email, but I have to ask you this question before I forget. But it has been an absolute pleasure working with you. Absolute pleasure.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure as well.
The flag.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, flag. Need a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we're adjourned.
Don't we have to, aye?
Oh, aye. Everyone in favor?
Aye.
Everybody's out of their chairs
No one ever
already.
votes no on motion to adjourn.
You aye? You never.
Yeah.
Usually you get the second.
Exactly.